Do 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 do
Mm-hmm.
do do do. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I was like, what? I don't have a wolf companion. Why is there a wolf companion? Okay. Um. Hello, everyone. Let's see. No, what? Why does that look so weird? I don't remember it looking like that. Helmet of Doxy. What's it look like? Okay, nothing like the actual thing. Okay, awesome. And oh, wait a second. Um, hmm. Um, okay, one sec. Restart my game real quick. Okay, should hopefully be working. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, interesting. I'm gonna get this thing to work real quick, but it's being weird. Never mind then. Alright. Heck. Heck and heck. Everyone is.
Say what you want about Deer Woodens. They haven't met the problem yet that they couldn't solve by killing some scapegoats. Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, just start doing main quest. Search it for signs of Taos. Theos, sorry. Oh. Just wanted me to. Pumpkin the Quarg.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for them.
Passage of the Six. Okay, I need to go in there. What happens if I try to? Oh, okay. Passage of the Six. Where
Wait.
are you? Wait.
I don't know if I should go through with this. Make the trade deal with the Anamenfath. If a Valiant deal with the Glanfathins weakens the Deerwood, it could mean war for the Republics in the future. I could put the idea in the Anamenfath's head that the Republics are not interested in exclusive trade, but limited trade of goods that they do not already trade with the Deerwoodens.
only see 3.
Another Estramore. What do you want? Few Estramoran are given the freedom of our sacred city. That you ask for this person is suspicious. There are reasons we don't let you Estramoran roam our sacred city. Reasons I am coming to understand. Looters have grown bolder at the sites of the builders. The people of Defiance Bay set fire to their own city. And every week, the 3 Tusk Stelgar bring news of more desperate settlers pushing at our borders, trying to escape their plague of Anolfane children. Permitting more strangers the freedom of the city is out of the question right now. Go and be thankful that Anamfath Shimak doesn't sit in the passage of the Six today. He would not be so kind as I. You'd better explain yourself. There's no way you could have known this saying. Not unless you are a Galuth on Anams, a watcher of souls. Feralt's warning came before the Broken Stone War. Feralt, my ancestor on my mother's side, was Anamfath of our tribe then. When the Estramoric farmers defiled the builders' monuments, Feralt urged the other Anamfatha to patience, but louder, angrier voices prevailed. Feralt believed that the invaders could be taught to respect the builders as we do. He also believed the builders' souls had spread to all peoples, and that we should avoid needless conflict with others. More practically, he worried that a violent response would only spur further bloodshed across the generations, and you can see where we are today. While Feralt's words were shrewd, they were ignored back then. Simply remembering his warning now will not undo the wars and the changes that the years have seen. There is blood on these stones, and that is all anyone remembers now. Another Estramore came through here a few days ago and, well, letting him through was a mistake. One I am eager not to repeat. The Guided Compass tribe has a reputation for being too soft with Estramoran. One that will not... I won't repeat a mistake in my haste to correct it. We bar Twin Elms from Estramoran to protect... These were the words given to the keepers of the stone. Very well. The city is yours to explore. Tell the guard at the gate that you come to see the cornerstone with the blessing of the Guided Compass. If the gods have truly returned one of the builders to us, find the Delimgon of Ter Evron in Elm's Reach. If the gods have sent you here with a purpose,
The Delamgon will know.
That's it. My position in the Brotherhood gone. I can't believe I just made up new trade terms to the Glanfath and Anamenfath. Postinago. Verus. They have a saying in Biajepe. New gold clears even the oldest debts. If I'm right, all will be forgiven. If not, there's nothing I can do about it now.
Okay. Yeah. Suck it. Really quick. Ooh, they got nice little bridges.
You have stayed true to our cause, Inquisitor, when so many others have not. For every heretic we confess, for every betrayer that burns on our pyres, new sheep continue to flock to Iavara ex Incios. But not you. I underestimated you in the beginning, but no longer. It is not for honor that I summoned you today, but for duty. Too many of our own have confessed upon the wheel and the rack and the flame. Too many of our faithful have had their minds poisoned by the Kratom witch. The tide is against us now. We have but one option. Iavara's following must see her exposed for what she is. She must confess her heresy before my court. Not in Kratom, surely. Their lord has embraced her heathen faith and protects her with his army. But in Oceanus, things would be different. The king of Oceanus is a sinful man. We have helped him to see the error of his ways, and now he fears for his soul. You have already done much for the Inquisition.
Okay, interesting.
Turn around, flesh creature. Outsiders are not permitted to approach the elms.
Do you not feel it, sister? Something familiar. An ancient soul, like the other one. Another defiler, no doubt. Let us fell him and be troubled no more. It would pay the debt of his predecessor.
So it would seem, Rhiannon. But we must not hasten to judgment. I see a different motive here. Different questions in these eyes.
What of it, young trespasser? Is it as my sister says? Or are you here to stain this place with foul deeds? Spoken with a transparent eagerness of one whose deformed little stamen has never successfully transferred gametophytes to even the most desperate of pistols, and who wouldn't know a carpal if an herbalist drew him a map.
You must excuse my sister's temper, old one. Trust me when I say that my sister and I have truly heard them all. Fortunately, you are easier to read than my sister. You are here for the man Theos Exarchanon. This is clear to me. The answer is yes, old one. We crossed paths with Theos not long ago, and we can tell you where he went. But I find it curious that anyone would seek him out. Suspicious, even. If we are to help you find him, we would know why. So that is the reason he passed this way. This is low, even for the Leaden Key.
I told you we should have confronted him, Sheila. He has always been a poison.
It would have been the last thing we ever did, sister. Who can be said to have ever gotten the better of Theos?
Yes, but imagine how much fun it would have been. Can't you just picture him all strung up in vines like an angry little puppet?
But that's not what this is really about, is it? You are bound to that man. I see it now. You are awakened. Your soul is awake, and something once buried deep now wells to the surface. Past overwhelms present, closes in around you. Your time has nearly reached its end. I am sorry to tell you this, but Theos cannot give you what you seek. Nor can any man. An awakening cannot be undone, any more than your past can be undone.
The soul is formless without a past to shape it. Did you truly expect to be able to wipe it away? However, as much as my sister speaks truly that there is no way back from an awakening, there may yet be a way forward. Would you agree, Sheila?
I would. Were the way not so likely to end in death.
Or perhaps you underestimate your foe, Old One. Where your soul is renewed in its ignorance in each span of your life, his only grows in cunning and resolve.
The man Theos you must already know by now. You are linked by a common past. Something about it lingers within you, festering, unresolved. What it is I cannot see any more than you. And without that knowledge, your doom is certain. But were you to learn the source of this discord, perhaps it could be put to rest. Though it is equally possible it will trouble you as much now as it did then, and merely speed your condition to its end. You might wait for it to come on its own, of course, but when it comes, it will replace your sanity's last breath. Such is the nature of your condition.
Or you could learn it from someone who already knows.
It is said the gods made his memory perfect, that he may never forget his charge. If he ever knew, he still does.
Not that he would tell you, of course.
You have followed the right person for the wrong reason, it seems. We see it often beneath the elms. The soul dragging mind and body to unknown places.
The only thing that's certain is you did not find what you sought.
He has gone down beneath the tower to a place older than we, where the people of Engwith once walked. He makes his way to the buried city, Sun and Shadow.
May he stay down there and rot with the remains of his people.
He may yet. He won't be returning the way he came, that much is certain. He opened a secret path in the tower's base, and saw it destroyed behind him through some vile means.
We know of one. On the burial isle, through the court of the penitents, Braeth Yaman. A shortcut, in fact.
Don't be cruel, sister. The way my sister speaks of is not for the faint of heart. A great pit at the center of a forgotten court, where faiths were judged in place of crimes. To most, it is simply a gateway to death. With the help of the gods, it can take you where you want to go. The pit is said to have been a means of judgment by the gods. Those cast into it are meant to die. It is that way you must pass to reach Sun and Shadow. The court is old. We do not know much for certain, but it would seem only the gods themselves can grant passage. No more than a ruin now. It is older than we, a place for the trial of heretics. We were not here to witness it, but at one time there was a group that refused to acknowledge the gods. Neither the first nor the last, of course, but these were numerous and all put on trial for it. Those who did not repent were cast into the pit and imprisoned below. The fall killed them, of course. The prison was not for people but for their souls, and their sentences were eternal. It is said that many of the condemned repented and were permitted by the gods to ascend from the pit, so long as they pledged their service to one of them. But these are old legends. Behind us is Ter Evron, said to pierce the shroud itself and a place of communion with all gods. If ever there was a time for prayer, you have found it.
Not the only way. Just the only one that doesn't end with your body impaled on jagged rocks.
I would pray first to those gods you like best. I hope for your sake the feeling is shared.
None.
Ter Evron is also called the Hall of Stars, and the stars show us the allegiances of the gods. When stars are in conjunction, we know the gods they represent are aligned as well. You should choose a place to pray where you'll be closest to those you want to hear you. If a god stands alone, you should pray to that god. If they band together, you should address them all. Choose your words wisely, for all gods expect proper homage, and none has patience for fools. Before you go, tell me this, old one. I'm curious. If you were to subdue your enemy, what would you do with him? What would give you peace? A great many questions still to be answered. All the same, think on this matter. Be assured in your course. In the end, it may mean all the difference, not just to... And be warned. Some questions have answers that can never be learned, and it is those that trouble the soul above all others. May you find an answer to yours.
Okay. Oh no, do I have to actually read these books?
Magnificent.
Do Hylias. Oh, there it is.
Did you hear that? About our awakenings being permanent?
Yeah, it did. Wait, how do I get to the fucking Temple of Hylia? What? I'm gonna go with that. There we go.
Let's go!
My mind
Let's go! Hey.
Huh?
It's like stuck. That's weird.
I'm ready. My mind. My mind feels sharp as steel.
That was pretty easy. Okay.
I understand.
Lavaru beyond seek!
Where's that guy over there?
Lavaru beyond seek! Hey.
Hey.
Let's go!
My mind feels sharp as steel.
Right. And what does the flame reveal?
Damage off of everything. Oh my god. I guess we could just rest. Don't have any bonuses going anyway.
Hey! Hey! You gotta stop it with that. It's just about punched you to snap you out of it. You were saying things, but they weren't any words I ever heard. You were shaking so hard I thought you'd crack your spine. Yeah, so I noticed. I'd have woken you sooner, but I thought it'd be nice for you to be able to close your eyes a bit. Folks don't last long without sleep. You're twitchy these days. Reminds me of Mayorwald more than I'd like. Anything I can do, you just let me know. We're close on this one. Hang on a little longer. We'll get you fixed up.
There we go.
Yeah.
If secrets whisper here, I shall listen for them.
save. And then I gotta use the restroom. I shall be right back. Hmm. So, we are in the lair of a sky dragon. Now, we've already seen how it goes with all the other dragons. Real question is whether or not we can actually fight a sky dragon. Because, this might go really bad for us.
Yes?
Are you serious?
I'm ready.
Dude. Whenever they got dominated and shit like that, they took it off.
Your thoughts must flow deeply
God.
indeed.
How may I
Can't
help?
believe that.
I'm ready.
Right.
Oh god.
Right. What's the plan again?
Um.
Vermin invading my nest, threatening my hatchling. You shall feed my young.
I'm ready.
Breathe. Uli.
Engage. Get that.
I'm ready.
You need to prone? No. Okay, great.
Hey.
So he's gonna prone you.
I'm ready.
She's gonna. Actually, I don't know about that. Just attack. What is he doing? Okay.
Lava will be on seek. Lava will be on seek.
Moeth ixi ana.
Lava will be on seek.
Prone, damn.
Lava will be on seek.
Yeah, that was definitely the easiest dragon we fought. Sky Dragon Eyes.
Right.
Whoa. Oh, +3 might ring. Oh my. Everything else that gets might on me? No, I don't. Oh. Nice. Suppress, right? Oh, that one is. Wait. It doesn't actually matter. Do we have any con bonuses? Oh, I can definitely get +3 con. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I did that.
Margaret's fire casts light in dark places.
Damn, that was easy.
If those Delamgon are right, you and I are stuck with our awakenings. Not quite the news I was hoping for. Yes, focus on the goal. A sensible perspective, particularly in the midst of such uncertainty. And while I hate to turn the subject back to myself, this all has me thinking about Isilmir. How I'm stuck with her now. Overstarched tunics, burnt toast, Rawatai sherry, those are not that bad. But having a stranger pop in and out of your head at
Oh,
will,
hello,
it's
Rocket.
unpleasant, I assure you.
You're late. It's okay. Why do you hate people? What's going on?
It's strange. I've lived with her most of my life, and I've always seen her as an adversary.
Yeah, your Minecraft server? What happened?
It should have occurred to me the day she stood up to my father. But there's something about being too close to a situation to see it clearly. It will be a relief to stop fighting her.
Oh no. Did they grief it? No. Seriously? Like somebody just griefed the whole thing? Do you know who it was?
I remember well. You've been a capable leader for this expedition, and an invaluable mentor to me. I won't forget what I've learned from you.
Oh, I guess you know not to play games with them anymore.
That reminds me of something else the Delamgon said. About the gods not being real. It's just... I can't help but worry at the state we'd be in if that was somehow true.
Hey man, if
If
somebody's
there
gonna
were
do
no
that to you,
power
it doesn't
guiding us in
matter.
this life and shepherding us to
There's
the
not
next.
there's not really a difference between real life and the game at that point. It's the value of the amount of time you spent in it. It's not no, it's not just a game at that point. You spent 700 days building stuff. That's 700 days worth of time and effort you put into something. For somebody to come along and just grief that all, it means they don't give two shits about how you feel about anything. So clearly that's not somebody you want to be around. Chill in real life is can just mean, oh, they just don't let out their piece of shit nature, you know?
Sound advice, indeed.
It's pretty
Sure.
fucked up to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a bubble column with crafting tables and buttons. Wait, how can't you escape from crafting tables? You just punch them, right? So it resets your braking and then you can't right click to place something? She's in most of your classes. What all did she do? He built like a hub.
You journeyed to my temple and rid it of the dragon. Now my faithful may return, singing their joy to the skies and praising me through their creation. Glad because you seek to protect life, or because you seek a patron. And yet you have proven yourself with this task. I would tell you of another. Yes, but not only to stop Theos,
She
to
burnt your
undo the
house
tragedy he has wrought.
and destroyed a lot of stuff. So, who was one of her goons that helped her out?
When you reach the Burial Isle, you will find souls there that I have granted reprieve for their sins. I give these to you, for only they can bear you to safety on your journey down. And when you face Theos and the rotting fruits of his endeavors, remember the conversation we have had. In that moment, you will have power rivaling a god's. And after it, you will live in the world that you have chosen. Choose Restoration, Watcher. Return the souls to the bodies they were stolen from. Swear to me that you will do this, and I shall give you power to make even Woodica quake. I can be merciful and terrible, Watcher.
Okay, so I guess you're going back to space engineers. Oh shit. Well, are you the owner of the server? It's like your server? Is like anybody else like operators in the server? I mean, that's not really petty. I just ban her. You can't just let her do whatever she wants and destroy all your shit and then have no repercussions. Ban her.
Wait! I'm not done with you. It's not often that any of our kind get the chance to speak to their, What should I call you? My mother? Father? Those words seem to fall short and yet be too generous, given our history. What did you expect? Should I be happy? To be like this? To live like this? What kind of creator does this to her creation and abandons it in a world this cruel?
Just ban her. Fucking get. She doesn't just get to do whatever she wants. She doesn't get to play your Minecraft server, okay? And you're not gonna get in trouble at school because you banned somebody on your Minecraft server, okay? They can fuck right off. Stupid. That's stupid.
All I've ever wanted from any of your kind is to take some responsibility. Any responsibility for what you've done. To us. To every one of the children you've abandoned. What does that mean? Come back here! We all deserve better.
Like names? I mean, you don't need to name call. Doesn't mean anything anyway. You don't need to. Just ban her. She's not allowed to play with you. And your friends.
Mm-hmm. Stop right there.
You're in the wrong city, Inquisitor. Did you think you wouldn't be recognized here, in your old home? I've seen your trials with my own eyes.
Done and done. Banned. Yep. Good. And then, honestly, you could probably just go in creative mode and just spawn a bunch of this shit back in that you lost.
Suros, what are you doing?
And then just fix everything. Because I doubt she spent, like, you know, hours and hours just running around breaking everything. I'm sure it was just a little bit of stuff, you know, like a house and whatnot, which is still annoying, and a bunch of loot that you got, but you could probably just get a bunch of it back.
An assassin sent by the Inquisition, my lady.
Unless you
Daring
have,
to
like,
approach our camp.
backups. Maybe you could always load a previous save or something.
Surely this is some trick of my mind. I did not expect to see you again.
Burnt it. You got ducks? Like IRL ducks?
I would like for you to stay here in our camp as my guest.
My lady Ivara, I beg of you. This is an Inquisitor. This is a desperate attempt on your life. The only way it can succeed is if you allow it to.
This is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. If I can't have faith in one man's ability to reason, once he knows the truth,
God.
what hope do we have?
My lady, he admits being a spy.
That should make him less of a threat, wouldn't you agree? I have nothing to hide. All I see here is an opportunity to persuade someone who could help us. We have many former missionaries here. They are our most loyal, our most helpful. Many have died for
Correct
us.
your posture.
These are not people we should be turning away.
Posture's
And if the
terrible right
Inquisition
now.
wants my life, they can have it. But they know as well as I do that my cause will not die with me. Come.
Now I go to the barrel on it. Okay. Only 2 weeks of school left. Dang. You're almost done. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And then you got the whole summer. What's your plans for the summer?
What brings you here? This does look like Theos' kind of place.
Ooh.
I remember when I was a girl, and the missionaries came and told us about the gods. They said we could see them in the stars.
Try not to be a stick anymore? Yeah, I know, right? That's the dream.
I remember when I heard that, I snuck out at night and climbed the watchtower in the old
Put on
fort
some weight.
because I wanted to see them better. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort. I miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf. I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Theos is doing. I will need allies. Allies on a stronghold that can resist an invading army. Osionis. They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen?
You're the same height as everyone, but 30 pounds under all of them. Damn. That's a big difference.
Let's go.
Rith Uligna!
Moe Ix. Moe.
Lava Lucion Seek!
Locked passage. Also, you want to get ready for next track season? Who knows? You know, maybe if you put on weight, you won't be able to run as good as you did, you know? Or jump as high. Damn it. She just can't resist getting hit by stuff. The funny thing is, is she liked you?
Lava will be on seek.
Your previous girlfriend.
Lava will be on seek.
Sounds like she missed her opportunity.
Moeth ixi ana.
Lava will be on seek. Lava will be on seek.
Wait, your girlfriend was trying to get you with somebody else while dating you? That's weird, bro. That's weird.
Steady does it.
Another turn, Inquisitor.
Didn't think dinosaurs a thing. Yeah, you were telling me about that.
I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused? Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Only my truth, then.
Another turn.
Oh god. She's on the wheel.
No! Wait! Wait! I'm ready. I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Thanks.
If this doesn't inspire faith in the gods, I don't know what will.
Yeah, not thinking dinosaurs are a thing
What
is
seems
weird.
like an eternity, your rapid descent comes to an abrupt end. You remain still for a moment while your heart settles and your eyes adjust, breathing in stale, forgotten air. Before you, a narrow and eroded walkway becomes faintly visible in the dim light, cutting a winding path through a cavern so expansive it seems a world unto itself. In the distance, you can make out the cold gleam of living Adra veins that spike and fork in and out of view from the murky depths beneath. their glow a faint and fleeting guide along the ancient trail. You look above at the opening you jumped through, now barely a speck of light like some distant star alone in the cosmos and forever out of reach. Your only way lies ahead.
Well, that went better than I expected. Everyone all right? No shattered knees? Good. Just me, then.
This place is cursed.
Damn. Alright, we're about over with the game, actually.
Do your eyes see what mine see?
Yeah, well, I'm actually getting pretty close to the end. Well, I just hit Act 4, and Act 4 only has like 4 quests in it, so I'm pretty much at the end here. I'm playing a lot. So, that's still kind of up in the air. I have debated on whether or not I should go to the second game, because the second game is way better. Like, they really did a lot better with the second game. Like, just from looking up some stuff on it. So that might be really fun. But also debating on whether or not I should play some other games. On stream. Like the Oblivion remastered stuff. Cause I modded that and I was playing that on stream.
Lavaru, beyond seek!
Oh, I forgot.
Do your eyes see what mine see?
Lavaru, beyond... Lavaru, beyond seek!
I'm ready.
What would you like to see me play?
Lavaru!
Back to the wheel.
Kingdom Come Deliverance. I mean, yeah, it is.
Do your eyes see what mine see?
Nice and quiet.
I just don't know if I'm in a Kingdom Come Deliverance mood.
Lavaru, beyond seek! Lavaru, beyond seek!
Uligna. Not even Moe Ix. Ana.
Sure. Keeping an eye out.
I shall do as you ask.
The forest. I've played a lot of the forest, though. Yeah, I played through all the Sons of the Forest when it first came out. I know that, of course, they've done a lot of updates on it. I don't know if they even voiced it, but it was really weird because last time they didn't have voices for anything. The characters just kind of like looked at each other. Oh, that's weird.
So my love returns to me at long last. You are so different now from who you were then, yet much remains the same. Old troubles with a new face. What is it that has brought you here? A gallant gesture, if a bit misguided. And yet I suspect there is more to this than you have said. I can only guess your presence here has something to do with Theos. The energy of this place changes when he is near. I don't know what he has done, but I do know of the souls that pass through here now. They do not come by choice. After all this time, he would still stand against the tide. I will tell you what I remember. I can see his influence, still hanging like a weight about your neck. So it always was. He had inspired something in you. We spoke of him the last time you were here also. It was just after the trial. You were agitated. I think because you started to consider that what I was teaching may have been true. That the gods aren't real.
Of course not. It all makes sense now.
I'd dreaded the idea from the moment the Delimgon suggested it. And yet, it almost feels like a relief. She's not serious.
Perhaps not to her. Many are those whom the gods have scorned. This is petty retribution.
What I taught was that the gods whose faith we had been spreading were not gods at all, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
In your Discord, you had corn bots, dude? No. Dude, so that's what I did. I stopped doing unlimited links because of that. Whenever there's just, some asshole that wants to ruin your server, they just send a unlimited link to like a bot program, and then it just spams you with bots. So I stopped doing unlimited, and then I don't just let anybody invite anymore.
They were conceived by Engwith, a society of high minds and broad concerns. Theos' people. In their time, every people worshipped its own gods. Sometimes they warred over it. After a few wars of their own, the Engwithans sought an end to it. They devoted all their energy to finding the true creators. Generation after generation, they prodded and worked the stitching of the world and unlocked its secrets. One day,
Yeah, the server
they
died.
found
Yup.
an answer. Except the answer was no answer at all. There were no gods to be found. Or if there ever were, they were gone. It shook them, this finding. If they could discover this on their own, how long until others would? How long before war and chaos reigned over a world without consequence? But they had mastered many things in their pursuit of these answers. And with their mastery, they crafted their own gods to fill the void, and sent missionaries to the corners of the world to spread their faith. I never thought of it as faith, but I think you are right to call it that. Let the world see Let them decide what to do. That was my faith. I became a missionary because the gods brought me hope that I wanted to bring to others. For a time, the truth sent me to a dark place. Then the day came when I realized nothing had changed, that I still had a purpose, and the purpose was the same and it was worth living for. I began questioning the other missionaries in public,
Like half an hour?
exposing their parlor tricks.
Like half to an hour.
In time,
Okay.
their following became mine. The Nguithan missionaries all knew it, but they never told the rest of us. They meant it to be a secret that died with them. And in the end, they allowed their bloodlines to fade from memory. I had been assigned to join a few of them at a temple. I found the door to their chambers closed, but the room was stone and the door thin. Their voices carried. I heard enough. I investigated the things they spoke of, and everything was there, just as they said it'd be. You asked me this once before. Nothing I can say would be any proof, and it may be certainty your soul craves. Resolution. But if you are bound for the same place Theos directs these souls, you will see for yourself, as you once did. Everyone faces this truth at one time or another. Few confront it. Few have the stomach to ask what if. And in avoiding the question, they deny themselves an identity of their own. What if all the tragedy, all the persecution, came in defense of an imposter?
That's not... That can't be right. Aethys, he's done miracles for people.
The power of the gods is undeniable. The truth of the story they weave is not. What if it were forbidden knowledge rather than fault that earned your doom? What of your guilt?
Margren set a path for me. She is fickle and cruel, but that is how she teaches. You know nothing of the fires that have shaped me.
And what if the fires themselves were lies? Lies you told yourself to bridge the gap between experience and truth. What if you had always been alone, without guidance?
Well, as poorly as I've chosen my guides, I suppose it would be a comfort to know that I'm free of them.
The freedom has always been. It was the guidance that was the illusion. What if even mastery over all things cannot answer the most basic of questions?
I stopped asking those questions long ago. It is enough to care for those we love with the time we have in this life.
What if the cycle of birth and death is nothing more than a tool of endless preoccupation? You don't need to. Everything you choose to do in light of it will be your answer. I ask these things not to trouble you, but to show why they must be confronted. No answer is simple, but somewhere between them all lies a truth so beautiful, not even a god could conceive it. Do we not owe ourselves a chance to find our part in it? If that is truly what you believe, then you are a far different person than the one I knew. I've been alone here with my thoughts for so long now. I've found peace with my failures, and with my punishment. I no longer curse fate for what might have been. But there is one thing that has clawed and scraped at my mind all these years. One thing that will not be put to rest until I know. Until I understand. I need to know why you chose to remain with the Inquisition, even after you'd learned the truth. Do you remember? Woodica gifted him a great many things, but his ability to manipulate was always his own. Good. Good. The things I taught, the things I believed, I needed to hear that. I needed to know it wasn't because... Of all that I loved you for, it was your righteousness most of all. You had heard both sides, seen everything. If not you, then who? I'm aware of the folly of trying to learn so much from so little. I've had time to consider that in all its facets, but in the end, it was all I had. Even knowing what you've told me, some part of me knows it doesn't truly answer what I wished to know, nor will an eternity of silent contemplation. I will have only my guesses and suspicions, and that will have to do. And what of your understanding of our past? Are you at ease with the choice you made? I have always forgiven you. Though I didn't know your reason, I knew you. I knew we had had something wonderful once. Looking back at that has helped me through these many years. At first I thought this might be the source of your soul's anguish, but now I see I was mistaken. You are not divided on this matter. You have put it behind you. It is with Theos that your agony lies, in sun and shadow. Your questions are not for me, but for him. And it may be that only an answer from the mouth of Theos himself will satisfy your needs. Yet if there is anything I can tell you that would be of use, ask and you shall know, in a matter of speaking. This is Braeth Yamen, the court of the penitents. Souls are confined here until they repent. They must beg the forgiveness of a god, pledge their soul to them, and they will be lifted from this place to the world above. In truth, they receive leniency, but not true mercy. The spite of Woodica is eternal. They linger above, at the side of the old court, and are not permitted to leave the island, forever severed from the cycle. This prison was full once in the days of the Inquisition, but time weathers all things, even will. I'm the only tenant who remains. Yet, I feel their presence strongly now, as it was in the beginning. You have brought many of them here. They cry out for the judgment of Theos. You have struck some bargain with the gods, then. They aid you because they would bend you to their own purposes. Engwith built gods from ideals, and an ideal on its own is a grotesque and vicious thing. But these souls, these forgiven the gods have bequeathed you like chattel. They were loyal followers in life. They will be with you to the very end. Last time someone asked me that, I was bound to an iron wheel with a broken spine. There are many things I've come to doubt about the choices I made in life. But that trial was my one moment of certainty, even without a chorus of gods to tell me I had been right. The gods need to be reminded that we have a spirit, and that spirit is proof against their power. They have the power to manipulate and confuse and ruin us, but not to change our will. He cares only for the secret he keeps locked away. He destroys anyone who might discover it, no matter their chances. That's why he's always favored Woodica. It isn't in her love of promises or justice. It's her disregard for the rules. Her willingness to do what is necessary. To Theos, she's not a deity, but an ally with which to conspire. When her power waxes, she does as she pleases with this realm, as well as hers. And she wants that secret guarded as much as he. If Theos succeeds, there will be a shift in the balance of power among the gods. Woodica was vanquished once, when the other gods decided she had gone too far, and her power diminished. With this infusion, there is no telling what she will do. The only certainty is that there will be chaos in their realm, as well as ours. You will not find a more resolute being on all of Eora. There is no offer you could make, nor spell you could cast, nor pain you could inflict that would make him reveal what he hides. But I see you have become a watcher in this life. Perhaps in defeat, when he can no longer defend himself, you might learn something from him. I could not say for sure, but you have been to Sun and Shadow before, and it came at a crossroads in your life, when much of what you knew had been upended. I have to believe it will come to you there. Your concerns then were of loyalty and trust and the gods. Everything I told you seemed to send you further into doubt. His words mattered to you when you knew him then. After you and I spoke, you went immediately to seek him out. Perhaps you simply sought confirmation from the man you trusted. If something from that time still troubles you, it may be something he told you then, or refused to tell you. He keeps secrets better than any in this world. Theos will not wait for you. If you do not catch up to him now, you may never find him again. If I repent, all I have done has meant nothing. I am grateful you came and found me here, no matter the circumstances. You're not exactly who you once were, I have to remind myself. But seeing you one last time, and remembering what we shared, brief as it was better than anything I dared hope for in this place. I suppose I have waited long enough, and I do not wish to delay you any further. Come, let's be done with this once and for all. I am ready.
Oh. They saved her from eternity. So this.
My thoughts will be as silent as my feet.
So, it's true. The gods are a sham that people have followed for thousands of years. We've been lied to. Our whole lives, and many lives before that. And it's led us to put our faith in a pantheon of gods that never deserved it in the first place. You're right. People will be better off finding direction on their own than following this farce. Besides, the gods haven't exactly done much to prevent us from slaughtering each other. If anything, they've only given us more pretenses for doing so. Seems like that's all they've been doing of late. I've also been thinking. There won't be much left of Theos by the time you're done with him, if I know how you operate. That will leave the leaden key headless. Perhaps it's best it stays that way. This is unexpected coming from you. Why keep it going? Then let's face Theos. When this is all over, I'll remember what we've been through. I'll see the leaden key transformed into a stronger, better guide for Kith. And I won't make the mistakes Theos did.
Alrighty.
Well, doesn't that just beat all? Here I was, wondering all this time whether all these terrible things were people's fault or the gods. Turns out they might be the same thing. Wonder how things would have gone different 15 years ago if the Raid Sarens had been told their god was made in some forge or kiln someplace. Would we still have gone to war? I could see the rebellion still happening, but I don't know that they would have invaded. I don't know. When Woden left for war, we, had a fight. As brothers will. About him going off to war. He was set on it. But my parents warned him. They said you get a new country with every trip across the border, but your god, you only get the one. Me? I didn't know who was right. All I knew was I didn't want him to go. It's the same for families as it is for gods. You only get the one. I said every vicious thing I could think of, trying to change his mind. He brushed it off. Just got me madder, of course, him being so calm. He said I should come with him, but he'd understand if I didn't want to. I told him he'd better be able to face his god one day and answer for what he'd done. He said he'd keep that in mind. And then, he was gone. By the time I'd cooled off, months had passed. One morning it dawns on me that my brother always knew better than me. If he was so sure of what he was doing, then I should be there with him. I packed my things and was on the road that same morning. Of course, what I didn't know then was he'd already changed his mind. By that time, he was dead on that field. Crossed my mind. You live in a place like Gilded Vale, you don't have a whole lot else to do other than think about things you don't want to think about. I hope that wasn't it. I hope he went there because it's what he thought was right. But it seems I'm not meant to know. If I'd have left with him, we'd both be dead, so I don't know why I bother thinking about it. I found my own way in the end, and it wasn't my brother's and it wasn't my god's. I don't know if it was right. But I couldn't abide what Widewin was doing to his own, God or not. I don't regret it. Whether Widewin was Aothis, well, it hardly seems to matter after what we just heard. And all these questions I've been trying to figure out. I think I just miss my brother. Still one more mess we gotta straighten out. Come on then. I still owe you one.
Huh?
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we note a rather sharp drop somewhere around here?
Ring of Searing Flames? Okay. Interesting. There we go. Man.
Full of surprises, aren't you?
Many spirits stir here, edged with anger, violence.
Can you do that again? I had something in my eye. I missed most of it.
Sure, let me try again.
Moeth. Moeth. Ixi Ana.
Rith Uligna!
Moeth. Ixi Ana.
Lava Rubion Seek!
Oh, shit.
Rith Uligna!
Sit your little happy ass down.
Lava Rubion Seek!
Brith Uligna.
Right.
I shall be discreet.
Your very past is a mystery. You bury it deep, reinventing yourself with each new path. You unravel a thread, Watcher. One you have lost and discovered over generations. And following it to its end has only brought you back to the beginning. A nebula of souls, blind and brimming with potential. The answer to Woodika's question and the beginning of yours. What would you do with them? A song the world knows and tires of. The droning chorus repeated again and again. Better the improvised melody, the unfolding chant. The listeners sit rapt, and just when they think they have the tune, it changes again. Even the gods require fresh mysteries. None know. They could end up anywhere in the realms of gods or mortals, whole or divided. Discovering them again and charting their course through the ether will be a new mystery. No end, Watcher. That is the purpose. That is a word for endings, and this is but a crossroads. Even I do not know what you would choose.
Okay. That's the drop-off point.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome back. You only gone for like 20 minutes. Oh, what is this? There's a bunch of other stuff back here though. Down here. Okay, go down there. Actually, I want to see something real quick. A little box.
Hey. All right, then.
Very close. Very, very close. I think the end might literally be in this next room.
ready to take the oath, to spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen. I am trusting you to remain loyal to the gods in this. If you do not, you will have greater powers than me to answer to. But you will answer to me as well.
Oh, that's cool.
I wouldn't ask this, were there...
Yeah, I did mod
This
it up.
is a missionary, same as I was. Taught the wrong things as I was. Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders.
You are ready to give a confession?
I am ready to hear one from you.
Base of the pillar stands Theos, a look of concern on his face as you note your approach. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all others, spinning madly in your mind, but you don't dare ask it yet. You need some admission from him first, some hint of the veracity of your suspicions.
You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here? That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build. The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh
This
from a
looks fun.
rotting wound.
Yeah.
They are monuments to Woodica's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete. It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it. We are in a sanctum holy to Woodica. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me. What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things. We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months. You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them.
Oh, is that him?
How did you find it? Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason. Then she should have obeyed. I ask one thing of all my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect. What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it as my agents suggest, that they have no direction of their own? You worshipped Aethys, did you not?
Your spies are good. What gave me away? The cape?
Yet when your god needed you the most, you chose your country.
We were being invaded. Not by anyone who was acting like a god.
Then I should think your hometown gave you a hero's welcome when you returned.
They made cake. Hard to blame people for losing faith when it's the gods who are misbehaving.
The gods argue over how best to prevent Kith society from destroying itself. These disruptions would not be necessary were mortal instinct not so diseased. You built a weapon that delivered exactly as promised.
I served my goddess as you did yours.
Yet the other builders were slain. 11 of a dozen. Why not you? Were you somehow different? Redeemable in your god's sight?
There was a message there, whether she meant it or not.
Or was it merely that your goddess wanted you dead as well, and your delusions of importance prevented you from seeing the obvious?
A whore's beguiling charms, nothing more. But the spell's broke now, Theos. The trial's over. I know friend from foe, and I've come here now to see a foe repaid.
You were able to destroy a god because another god wished it. Without her hand to guide you, you could not strike at a god any more than you could strike the sky. You are impotent, and not just from the pox. I understand your Duke's bells gave you a mission.
Their orders do not absolve me of my greater responsibility to the safety and well-being of the Republics.
Yet you disobeyed. Something you already have a reputation for. They will know, of course. If it had been for a worthy cause, they might have forgiven you. But I don't see them pursuing animancy after seeing what it's done here. They trusted you, and you disappointed. As you always have. And you will again be disowned.
The parents scold, but the children are safe. Whether animancy research continues in the Republics or not, they will survive. For now, that's enough. In any case, I wouldn't be so smug about my fate, Theos. I imagine Woodica responds to disappointment much more severely than even my dukes.
State your name and purpose, young acolyte.
My name belongs to the gods, in my hand to their service. And I'm going to purge it of your stain.
You serve none but yourself. Without contact with your order, you can have no higher purpose. Only the base concerns of the flesh. You have cast yourself from our ranks.
No. I've risen above them. I'll take the leaden key and lead in a way that you, who remained nothing more than a slave to the gods, never could.
A leader without insight, directing an organization that does not question. Quite a vision, Initiate. You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives.
He doesn't even see her. That's funny.
I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago. I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it. I have no illusions about the costs involved. But what your brief lifespan obscures is that it is what must be done. The heart of this country has skipped a beat, nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Telosus into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin. When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls. That's where you are mistaken. There was a time, back when your soul was still a shapeless mist, when the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith. But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our god's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark. There is no false hope. Only hope for things that never come. Have you imagined this existence? The one the apostate would have created? We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves. But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust. If you would welcome a wretched and lifeless existence, then by all means. But I will not see the rest of the world saddled with such a curse. All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. This is the only way. You have not thought this through. There is no leaving this place for you. I allowed it once, but you have made it all too clear what a mistake my mercy was. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid.
Oh.
Octen!
Big old dudes. Okay, so
Hey.
you go fight that. You
I'm
go
ready.
fight that. You go. I just charmed him. No way. They're absolutely dog
Rift! Let's go!
That's it. That's it. That's all you got? At your feet rests the body of Teos. Hollow, and the dense wrinkles shaped by the silent shoulder of an eternal bird now smooth across his color-drained face. His soul remains still for the moment, defenseless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud.
Thousands of souls he has tortured. Would that he could live those sufferings 1,000 times himself.
In his own way, Theos must have truly believed he was caring for the people of Aora, protecting them from themselves. A shame his soul won't have a chance to reflect on his errors before it enters the wheel.
Some point, you have to look at the things your god is telling you to do. And ask yourself if it's worth it. All those lives. And at the end of them, he was no better than the very people he sought to guide. A pity he would ever have to face that realization again.
A deep breath plunged into Teos' soul, and where in Brackenbury it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, now is expansive and borderless. Its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Egwith as you pass through them. You travel for what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory you glimpsed once before, as you last see it no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as you near. You come out in the room as you are standing in now, but it is new and pristine, filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Audra pillar and the machine that encases it. Teos stands at the machine, and you are one with him now. You look out at the crowd, at the faces of shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, as mothers bouncing infants to quiet them, and fathers clasping their children's restless hands and watching you with somber acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives you a small nod. You turn back towards the machine, your breaths constricted beneath the weight of unwanted knowledge, preparing yourself to set out alone on a journey without end. You close your eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of you, beckoning. You take your place in front of it and place your hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the great crystal column. Speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors into the platform beneath you. The entire room shakes now with the force of that accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. Brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions, and you look over your shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one, the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrating into gray heaps under the stress of the tremors. You look above to the Adra pillar, and glowing spherical mass has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arcs converge. It glows and pulses, translucent and bulbous, like some immense chrysalis suspended in slow rotation as though it was being spun from the arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs a moment, no longer rotating so bright you must shield your eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems to you as though it's looking at you. You bow your head in acknowledgement and look back up to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillars flare with a flash of light bright as the sun itself, then fade into the darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echo of its grinding cogs has passed, the chamber is still, and you are alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and you find yourself in your own skin once more, looking down at Theos' lifeless body. You sense a listlessness to Theos' soul, overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it vulnerable to manipulation. You feel as though your victory has given you some kind of hold over it, and you're able to do with it as you please. It's like a return to the cycle. Well, remember this, Theos. Remember that no man can hide the truth forever, and all you've done in futility your memory shall be penance. Tear his soul apart. I do not envy you, Theos. Of all people, I realize the sway memories can hold. It is time you were granted peace. Banish his soul to Braith Aemon. Theos, ninth Arcanon. There can be no forgiveness for your deeds, only justice. You shall escape judgment no longer. Destroy all memories contained within. Your memory makes you a slave to your own past. Perhaps it can't be undone, but it can be forgotten. It shall trouble neither of us any longer. Tear his soul apart. You caused me great suffering, Deus. You do not deserve to exist. I'm going to destroy his ass. He gone. You reach out for Teos' soul, and you can feel its frailty and defeat, its texture like coarse and threadbare cloth on the brink of disintegration. You insinuate yourself between the threads, pushing the weaves apart, unraveling the stitching until it is bereft of structure, a formless heap bound together by nothing at all. In its midst, you just dedicate your focus to a single idea, and the idea is shatter. You concentrate, and as you concentrate, you feel a force building within your soul, an outward pressure that strains against containment, threatening to rupture your spirit. When you can contain it no longer, you transfer it into Theos' soul all at once and release it there, a detonation of will that expands in all directions, driving out the remnants of his essence, scattering it into nothingness. You can feel his presence no more. In the stillness that follows, a single word echoes through your mind. A word you spoke when you were one with Theos in an ancient memory. You realized it was the word that activates the machine. I guess I can talk to them real quick.
So much for Theos, then. Now you have a chance to set things right, back to the proper order of things. It will take the Deerwood generations to recover, but at least these souls will find their way back to the wheel, as it should be.
Theos, he had hold of your soul from a long time back, seems like. You get what you needed from him? Well, those can be hard to come by. But maybe that's best. Forces you to find your own footing. You'll be feeling better soon then. Good. That's real good. Got a lot of people out there thinking they've been abandoned by their gods. There's not much that'll put the fear in you more than that. You can take my word for it. If it was in my power, and I know it's not, but if it was, I'd find a way to give them the courage to face it. Not because they think there's some god looking out for them, but because they've just got it in them. After what you've been through, though, I'm sure you got your own ideas. Better Astounding. I always knew the Leaden Key stood for something big, but I didn't quite realize what I'd gotten myself into. And now, you're in the middle of something even bigger. With a decision that will affect millions. This is beyond either of us. The certainty of the gods is a mercy. Power like this is a heavy burden. Just look at how it crushed Theos. Perhaps he was right to surrender it to Woodica. It's your decision, of course. And whatever you decide, I'm glad our paths crossed in Gilded Vale.
Ah, the end of the road greets us at last. You fared well, Watcher. Better than any Watcher has right to. Seems you were a field in need of a flame's cleansing. But with that trial's end, a new one begins. A god's trial. And I will stand in judgment without mercy.
Theos may be gone, but his crimes, the wounds he has inflicted, remain. Yet before you lies an opportunity to heal, to restore. Only through the healing of families, repairing the bonds between parent and child, reforging the shattered links between generations, can the Deerwood be knit whole once more. People will long remember the legacy. Let them also remember the healing that followed. Theos may be gone, but his crime. Yet before you, people will long.
Mm-hmm.
You close your eyes and expand your perception outward, taking in the immense totality of the tens of thousands of souls orbiting the chamber. Your grasp on the souls is tenuous. You find yourself fighting to keep them all within your influence, and you can feel them slipping away from you as the machine gains speed. A brief moment comes when it feels as though you hold all of them at once, and their force is so great it feels as though they will tear you apart. In that moment you dedicate your entire being to bending their orbit, channeling their flow in a new direction. Back into their bodies.
At your command, the ancient device became your instrument, spinning to life with deafening resonance and gathering up the swirling essence like thread on a great spindle. There, in the pale pulsing glow of the machine that set you on this path long ago, you summoned all your strength, focusing on your objective and blocking out all else. With a single concussive blast that rocked the chamber and sent you tumbling to the ground, you freed the souls from their stasis. Exhausted, your consciousness slipping away, your last sight was of the machine, dark and dormant. Then your eyes closed, and sleep welcomed you at long last. After coming to and searching for some time, you discovered the route Theos used to enter Sun and Shadow, and embarked on a long and arduous ascent back to the surface. You emerged in Ter Evron after days of tunneling through the rubble Theos had left behind, and when you stepped into the daylight, you were faced with a different Deerwood than the one you had left. At your direction, the souls diverted by Theos were guided back to the vessels originally meant for them. For the first time, parents of hollow-born children woke to the cries of their infants, and looked into their eyes to see them staring back. People fell to their knees where they stood, thanking Helia or Mogren, or even Aethys for their forgiveness of whatever guilt they felt they bore. But for all the relief that had come to some parents, others only found new grief. For many thousands of Hollowborn had died during Wide One's legacy, many by their parents' own hands. For those children, there would be no homecoming. Yet the last Hollow birth was in the past now, and those parents willing to risk trying for a new child were frequently rewarded, often with twins. Many felt they saw Helia's hand in it, and the year would be remembered as the year of Helia's splendor. Though you had killed Lord Radric in his throne room, so strong was his drive to rid his land of Eothasians that he returned to life as a death guard, a deathless crusader for his brutal cause. With the remains of his humanity stripped away, Radric came to see all the people of Gilded Vale as worshippers of Eothas, and one day he led his forces into the village personally to see them all purged from his lands. Gilded Vale was left a hollow shell, its buildings ruined, and its people slaughtered. Even travelers and would-be squatters knew better than to take refuge inside its borders. Lord Radric returned to Radric's Hold, where he remained, keeping eternal watch over his barren domain.
Oh, damn.
Following the assassinations of Duke Avar Wolfgren and Lady Webb, Defiance Bay was thrown into political upheaval. In the ensuing weeks, the streets had become the domain of looters and blackguards. Few dared to step outside their own doors alone or unarmed. But order would soon come from an unexpected source. House Dominel, realizing that stability was good for business, brought the city's criminal elements in line through a systematic campaign of fear and intimidation. Capitalizing on the mutual antipathy of the Dozens and the Knights of the Crucible, House Dominel continued to manipulate both groups from the shadows, ensuring their decline and eventually supplanting their authority in Defiance Bay. Defiance Bay was served well by the Dominel's rise. Their subtle political maneuvers and lack of legal oversight allowed them to broker a number of favorable trade deals, rekindling the city's economy. Although their cautious approach in the legacy's aftermath had perhaps denied them broad notoriety outside of Defiance Bay, House Dominel's wealth and influence both continued to grow unchecked. The destruction of the machine atop Ter Noaneth spelled the end of the reanimated corpses in Heritage Hill. Though at first few were willing to venture into the abandoned district, it was soon cleaned out and rebuilt. The district's horrors still fresh in people's minds. It would be some time before it was fully repopulated, but eventually the lure of cheap prime land would all but erase the memory. The Duke's assassination at the apparent hands of an Animancer had caused catastrophic rioting in the streets of Defiance Bay, and few Animancers survived the first day. Many Deerwoodens took the end of Wideone's legacy as a sign, both that the gods did not approve of Animancy, and that the purging of Animancers in Defiance Bay had been enough to satisfy them. In time, their rage would subside, and a number of surviving Animancers remained in and around Defiance Bay, often taking to the wilds to practice their science without repercussions. The Hollowborn scourge ended, and as news of the White Forge spread, smiths came from near and far to labor by its fires. It drew the attention and envy of several governments, but it also revitalized the region. Once more, the White March grew famous and prosperous for its metalworking. With her newfound energy, Tana oversaw the restoration of Stalwart's mines faster than any could have expected. As word spread about Durgan's battery, artisans and smiths came to rely on the village's steady supply of ore. Their coin paved wide roads, built sturdy walls, and renewed hope for the people of Stalwart.
Oh yeah.
Even as Stalwart memorialized the discovery of the White Forge, the arrival of the Watcher became an even more celebrated occasion. For the Watcher had given them not only Durgan's battery, but also hope for their own village. Maneha never found the salt well, but she found a kind of peace in her duties as a gift-bearer, and in the ebb and flow of her journeys. As she traveled and accepted burdens from Andra's supplicants, she saw in their eyes a kind of peace that she had not previously noticed. It was faith, not that Andra had freed them of their pain, guilt, and regret, but that she would, a little more each year. With that realization, Maneha learned to accept that Andra's ways were as gradual as they were inexorable. The fortress of Cadnua emerged as a bastion of security in the midst of an untamed land, becoming the envy of every thane and earl in Deerwood. Legend grew over time of its impregnability, and stories of formidable invaders easily scattered by the keep's defenses became popular around the hearths of Deerwoodinians. Likewise, it also became a beacon to travelers, merchants, and visiting dignitaries alike. Reputed as the finest fortress in all Deerwood, people would journey from near and distant lands alike to experience its fabled hospitality and grandeur. Palagina had gone against the Duke's Bell's orders by inventing a new trade arrangement with the Anamenfath to accommodate the recovering Deerwooden market. With the Deerwood's people still weakened by Widewind's legacy, the Valian republics easily pushed their would-be competitors out of the market. For her outrageous insubordination and audacity, Palagina was banished from the republics. She traveled north in the Eastern Reach, avoiding Valian ports and entering the ranks of the kind wayfarers. Despite her bravery and dedication to those in her care, her strange appearance made her feel like an outsider wherever she went. Adair chose not to return home to Gilded Vale. Still most comfortable far from cities, he settled in Deerford, which, like many towns in the Deerwood, was beginning the slow process of rebuilding. Believing now that it was the obligation of Kith to be the leaders their gods had not, Adair was soon named mayor of the town, and under his guidance, Deerford soon began to prosper. He expelled the last of the Scanites from the area and drew new settlers with the offer of land, a trick he had learned from someone he otherwise preferred to forget. With each passing day, Deerford would come to more closely resemble the Gilded Vale of Adair's childhood, the one worthy of its name. When the dust settled in sun and shadow, Aloth looked upon the remains of Theos Ix Arcanon, his former master. He saw where the Grandmaster had gone wrong, and he knew what he would do better. The secret of the gods would be preserved, and with it, the sanity and well-being of all Kith. He donned the remains of Theos's ceremonial garb and prepared himself for the long and lonely task ahead. After all that he had learned in the Watcher's company, Kanarua could no longer see meaning in his pursuit of the Tanvi Oratoa. He decided to leave what remained of it within the depths of the Endless Paths and return home. Kana bid the Watcher farewell and sailed back to Rawatai, spending the tempestuous journey reflecting on the time he had lost to the pursuit of falsehoods. His family found Kana much changed, his fiery excitement replaced with a weary solemnity. Determined to change his wandering ways, Kana took up a quiet life as a lorekeeper at the college, teaching young students the traditions of their people. With Theos defeated and the souls released from sun and shadow, healthy children were born once again in the Deerwood. The grieving mother sought a place where she might do penance for the birthing bell. She returned to Deerford, where, to the astonishment of the villagers, she delivered the first healthy child in over a decade. She remained there, and with each new birth, she saw a measure of hope restored to the Deerwood and a measure of grace for her own troubled past. Durrance continued to blame Woodica for the atrocities of the Saints' War. Believing Magrin to have been a pawn in the machinations of the Queen that was, and feeling that Theos's expulsion had been a step towards reconciliation with his goddess, Durrance tried for a time to reopen communication with her. When only silence came, he took it as a condemnation of his continued existence. Ultimately, he built a pyre and threw himself upon it, using his own shattered staff as kindling. You and Sagani never found Persok together. The Adra figurine had gone dark by the time they emerged from Sun and Shadow, and it was another month before Sagani finally accepted that Persok's trail had gone cold again. Her search took her beyond the Deerwood and as far as the Living Lands. She saw the great coastal cities of Rawatai and the ruins of Old Valia, absorbing the details of these strange and distant lands. 20 years passed before the Adra figurine finally glowed again. When it did, she followed its signal to a quiet hamlet on the outskirts of Adir. There, she met a young farmer and told her of her past as an elder of Masuk. Sagani returned to a village that had forgotten her face, but remembered her story. Masuk greeted her with cautious warmth, and Sagani found that their ways had become strange to her. She also learned that Kalu had perished of winter fever a few years before, and her middle child, Najuo, had died in a raid. But she found her daughter Yakona a hunter and mother of 3, and her son Malak a builder of mighty walls. In them, she came to find her place in the village, and the familiar contours of a world that had changed in her absence. For you, the death of Theos brought an end to your waking visions, and a silence to the whispers of the past. In their absence, you were able to sleep. The questions of a distant lifetime ceased to trouble your soul. All that remained was what to make of the answer. Unfortunately, you would have little time to contemplate the matter. Soon after your victory at Sun and Shadow, rumors of a monstrous army swept the Deerwood. What first sounded like superstition and drunkards' tales turned out to be much more. Enormous creatures of flesh and iron found you and brought the walls of your keep down upon you.
Sounds like I got a pretty shitty ending for the most part. Shelter hackers. Oh. That's the end. I guess if I wanted, yeah, pre-end game, it's right there. So, I guess if I wanted to go back and actually have a much better ending, I can go right there and finish stuff. Because I guess what I think having to finish the endless things is what makes my keep not get burned down, and then of course there's everybody's story quests. Might do that before going to the second game, just so I have better thing to start off of. But yeah, so that's that was Pillars of Eternity, the first one. It's a good, definitely a good game. My main issues with it was the fact that it's real time compared to turn-based. I love turn-based way more, and the real time just kind of went over my head with a lot of the stuff. Like real time just is just turn-based but worse, because you have to pause to do your turn. But if you're bad with your reactions, or you're bad with managing, 6 different people's shit tons of abilities, then you run into the problem where you're just not doing as much as you should be doing, so you just fall short. And having to figure out, oh, my character's in a weird position, so whenever the dragon does their ability, it just kills them instantly. And didn't seem like there was a lot I could do when I was fighting stuff that was so beyond me, like the dragons. It's just I don't know what I was supposed to do to fight the certain ones, And then of course there's like the story one, the Sky Dragon. That one was super easy. I pretty much just made them attack and then they'd figured everything out on their own. That was another thing too. I started making it where they just started using all their spells, and then it was way better. Like they just managed better than I did for the most part, minus the fact that they'd spam spells always, so they'd use it in a combat they didn't need to use spells. But yeah, played through on normal, so that's nice. There's probably a shiz ton of achievements that I'm missing. But yeah, I think that's just how real time is. I don't know if it's gonna be better in the second game, because like the real time is not necessarily a bad thing, I guess, if the AI is better. So like that's what I was saying that I feel like real time isn't as good as turn based. I just like turn based more, but the AI with it was also really bad. So like Dragon Age Origins, it's a real time, but I love that real time because I could set up what my characters were meant to do even if I wasn't controlling them. So it's like, okay, well, my side character, okay, I set you up to, if somebody's below this percent health, heal them. If 3 people are close to each other, use your AoE spell. If the enemy uses some sort of buff on them, use this to counteract it. Like there's just all these different things you can set up. So okay, you create what your character will do for you, right? For the real time. And then this though, I have to manage every single spell and think of every single spell at all times, and it's just a lot to worry about with 6 people. Like it probably would have been better if to manage if it was 4 people. But 6 people is a lot of people to manage. Like, especially when everybody has 1 to 6th level spells, or 7th. No, it's way more than that. It's 1 to 8th level spells or whatever you eventually get to. But that's just a lot to manage. And there's so many different random buffs. And one of the things too I really wish that it just stacked was the stat bonuses from items. Like the stat bonuses for items, for some reason, only the strongest one applied. So if you had +2 perception here, +2 perception there, +3 perception on this, you only got +3 perception from your items. So that felt kind of annoying. Because it's like, oh, well, what's the purpose of having all these items that are like the same bonus? It's just they're useless. So a lot of items just didn't use. Of course, soulbound stuff's the best, so just use the soulbound items. They're insane. They're so easy to like get up. But I'm really curious to see how the second game goes. In comparison to the first one. Because I know the second one is supposed to be a huge improvement on like everything. So I'm hoping the AI is a bit better in the second one. And I'm hoping like the character respecting and stuff like that's a bit better. I know they have you like focus on like upgrading up your boat and stuff, and you got like ship combat and stuff, so that could be really awesome to try out. But yeah, so I guess I'm gonna go ahead and conclude that. All right. Yeah. Solid, like, let's see. I'd say like maybe a 7.8 to like 8 ratings what I'd give it. It's pretty good. But those problems I had with it were kind of, if I liked real time a lot more, probably have a higher rating. But yeah. And that concludes.